90 minutes are gone. Atlanta is on its feet, and a 40-year-old goalkeeper from an island most of the planet cannot even find on a map is still standing tall. Spain, the champions of Europe, the second-best team in the world, have taken 27 shots at his goal tonight. They have scored none of them, not one. The final whistle goes, and the scoreboard reads, Spain 0, Cape Verde 0. The Spanish players sink to their knees. The Cape Verdeans sprint to their keeper like he has just won them the trophy. And in that one moment, you can feel it. This is the night the World Cup stopped making sense. June the 15th, 2026. Across North America, 4 World Cup matches kick off, and 4 World Cup matches end level, 4 draws in a single day. You have to go back 68 years, all the way to 1958, to the very same date, to find the last time that happened in the history of this tournament. The giants of world football walked out that morning expecting routine. Every last one of them walked off with their hands on their heads. This is the story of how, in one impossible fortnight, the smallest teams on Earth quietly tore the entire script to pieces. Look at the 4 games, because the list alone tells you something is wrong. Spain, held 0-0 by debutants Cape Verde. Belgium, ranked among the best on the planet, held 1-1 by Egypt without a single shot on target. Uruguay, 2-time world champions, held 1-1 by Saudi Arabia. And Iran, pegged back twice by New Zealand, 2-2. 4 of the proudest names in the game, 4 afternoons of frustration, not one of them could find a way to win. And the strangest part, this was not the exception of the tournament, it was becoming the rule. Start with the headline act, Cape Verde, a chain of 10 small islands off the coast of West Africa, with a population of 525,000 people, fewer than live in a single district of Madrid. This was their first World Cup ever, and to face the European champions, they named the oldest starting 11 any debutant nation has ever fielded at a World Cup, anchored by Vozinha, a goalkeeper who turned 40 years old this year. Spain would go on to have 74% of the ball. Cape Verde did not panic, and they did not chase. They built a wall in front of their goal, and they dared the best team on the continent to knock it down. And Spain threw absolutely everything they had at that wall. 27 shots, 734 passes, the most by any team in any World Cup match since 1966. The expected goals, the stat that measures the real quality of your chances, read 2.3 for Spain and 0.3 for Cape Verde. By every single number that matters, Spain comfortably won this football match, but football is not settled by expected goals. Vozinha saved 7 of those shots, throwing out a hand, a leg, anything. Ferran Torres rattled the crossbar, and the scoreboard, the only number that has ever actually counted, stayed frozen all the way to the end at 0-0. Now travel west to Los Angeles. Here are New Zealand, the lowest-ranked team in this entire 48-nation tournament, 85th in the world, up against Iran, a side packed with players from Europe's leagues. New Zealand was supposed to be the easy 3 points, instead they took the lead. Then Iran equalized. Then New Zealand took the lead again, both goals from a forward named Elijah Just. And again, Iran clawed it back. 2-2, the team that almost nobody on Earth gave a single prayer to walked away with a point at the World Cup. And an entire country, half a world away, stayed awake through the night just to watch them get it. And it simply would not stop. Qatar, a nation that, across an entire previous home World Cup, had never taken a single point in their history, snatched one in the 4th minute of stoppage time, against a Switzerland side that had peppered them with 26 shots. Canada, co-hosts of this tournament, who had lost every single World Cup match they had ever played across 1986 and 2022, finally drew one. One by one, page by page, the record books were being torn apart. And not by the favorites, by the teams that had been invited supposedly just to make up the numbers. Now it would be easy to look at any one of these results and call it a fluke. A hot goalkeeper, a lucky bounce, a bad day at the office. One game you can explain away. But 4 draws in a single day, a pattern stretching across 2 full weeks, on every side of the continent, that is not luck, that is not coincidence. Something has fundamentally changed, and to understand exactly what, you have to understand what this World Cup truly is. The first of its kind in history, and quite possibly the most dangerous tournament the giants of this sport have ever walked into. 48 teams, 12 groups, more debutant nations than any World Cup ever staged. But the new format is not the real story here. The real story is who these so-called minnows actually are now. Cape Verde's backline does not play on dusty island pitches, it plays in Europe. New Zealand's match winner earns his living as a professional abroad. These players spend their entire club seasons sharing dressing rooms and tackles with the very superstars they are now facing. And because of that, they do not fear them anymore. The aura, that invisible thing that used to win the big teams matches before a ball was even kicked, is gone. Vanished. Then add the conditions on the ground. A North American summer with games kicking off in brutal afternoon heat. 1,000-mile flights between host cities, draining the legs of the deepest squads. And then there are the breaks. Across just the first 24 matches of this World Cup, referees stopped play for official hydration breaks 157 times. Think about what that does. Every single one of those stoppages lets a tired, overrun underdog catch its breath and reset its shape, and quietly strips a great attacking team of the one thing it needs most: rhythm. This format was sold to the world as protection for the big nations. On the pitch, it is doing the exact opposite, and the cold, hard numbers scream all of it. 3.1 goals per game across the group stage, the highest scoring rate the World Cup has seen in decades. In those first 24 matches, exactly one of them ended goalless. The expansion to 48 teams was promised to us as a gentle, comfortable stroll into the knockout rounds for the established elite of the sport. A formality. Instead, almost overnight, it has turned into a 2-week-long ambush, and the favourites are the ones walking into it. But here is the uncomfortable truth. The part the highlight reels and the viral clips will never tell you. Look closer at all of those famous upsets, and you will notice something. Almost none of them were actually wins. They were draws. Cape Verde did not beat Spain. They survived Spain, with an expected goals figure of 0.3. They barely crossed halfway. The underdogs of this tournament, for the most part, are not outplaying the giants. They are clinging on by their fingernails, throwing bodies in the way, and simply refusing to lose. And resilience, however heroic, is not the same thing as a revolution. So which one is this, really? And yet, not all of it was clinging on. Travel to Vancouver. Here, Australia did not park the bus and pray against Turkey, a team half of the football world had tipped as the dark horses of the entire tournament. No, Australia beat them, 2-0, deserved, controlled, clinical. A debutant goalkeeper made 8 saves, yes, but his team created the better chances and took them. That was no smash and grab, no backs-to-the-wall miracle. That was simply a smaller football nation being flat-out better than a bigger one on the night. So some of this really is the gap closing for good. And the entire trick now is learning to tell which is which. Which brings us right back to the island. Cape Verde, 500,000 people. A debut that not one single expert expected to survive the opening week. And yet, as we speak, they sit just one win away from the knockout stage of a World Cup. One game against Saudi Arabia. Win that one match, and a nation that has never in its history been anywhere near this stage reaches the last 32 of the planet's biggest tournament. At the very first time of asking. A team of part-timers and journeymen, outlasting Spain and Uruguay. Hold that thought, because it tells you everything about where this tournament is heading. Because for one night in June, the most predictable, most rigid hierarchy in all of world sport simply dissolved into nothing. The champions of Europe could not score against a chain of islands. The lowest-ranked team on the entire planet would not lose. Reigning world champions were held by part-timers, and somewhere deep in the record books, 68 years of football history quietly, eerily repeated itself. This is what the new World Cup looks like now. Bigger, louder, and more dangerous to the favourites than any version that has ever come before it. Nobody is safe here anymore. Nobody at all. So now it is over to you. Is the gap between football's giants and football's minnows finally closing for good? Or was this just one brilliant, desperate, unrepeatable fortnight of defending? A statistical storm that the big teams will ride out the moment the knockouts arrive? Drop your verdict down in the comments because I genuinely want to know. This is Matchday, and we are following every shock, every collapse, every impossible result, all tournament long. So subscribe and stick with us. And whatever you do over these next few weeks, do not watch the favourites. Watch the teams who were never, ever supposed to be here in the first place.